So far we've been using the standard normal table from the textbook to find probabilities. But Excel gives you four different functions, well, two different functions for probability. There are totally four functions, but we will come to the other two in a little bit. There are two functions that are available in Excel that can be used to find probabilities. And that's this norm.dist that uses x, mu, sigma, and cumulative probability. That one stands for cumulative probability. 0 would be just the height of the function, which means nothing for us. Okay. Or you can compute z yourself using x, mu, and sigma. And once you have the z, you can use the norm.s.dist. That s here stands for standard normal. In that case, standard normal, the mean is 0, standard deviation is 1. So there is no need to specify that. All you have to do is to specify whether it is cumulative or not. So these are the two functions that you can use. So this one returns the probability directly from x. But you have to specify what is mu and sigma. But if you want to use this function, you have to first convert x into a z yourself. So z must be calculated first before using this function. And again, it returns the cumulative probability. Okay. Now let's return back to the same problem from before, which is the construction problem. And the random variable is total construction time in days. And remember, mean is 100 days. Standard deviation is 20 days. Okay. And the first question is whether we can complete it within 125 days, that being the due date. Okay. If you use the norm.dist function, so that's the first one. So norm. Okay, and you'll see that there are four. These are the four current functions and the corresponding four legacy functions. Don't use the legacy functions. Use the current function. So you have to first specify the value of x and then the value of mean mu. Okay, I'm going to absolute reference that. And then standard deviation, absolute reference that as well. And then you have to specify that you want the probability, which is a cumulative probability. Okay, that's it. So this is more accurate than the table, because the table it goes only up to 5 decimal places. This one is more accurate than the table. So in your chapter test, then you shouldn't use the table because there will be problem with accuracy. Use the Excel function when you do the chapter test. Now if you want to use the norm.s.dist, then you have to compute the z yourself. So it will be x minus the mean mu, I'll absolute reference that, divided by the standard deviation, absolute reference that. So we have z. So now norm.s.dist, now z, that's it. There's no mu sigma for this, and 1. We'll give you the same answer, obviously. Okay. This function always gives you, doesn't matter whether the z is negative or positive, it always gives you the cumulative probability. So what is the probability of completing the project within 75 days? Okay, so within 75 days is cumulative probability. You don't care whether z is positive or negative. So all we have to do is to do a norm dist. Now I can copy that formula because I have absolute references. So that's the probability. And again, if you compute z, copy that down here. So you see it is negative, but it doesn't matter. You don't need to worry about dropping the negative sign or anything. So that's why Excel functions are a lot easier to use. So z and comma 1. So that's your cumulative probability. So what is the probability of completing the project within 110 and 125 days? So here, if you use the norm.dist function, so now we have to do the mu and sigma separately, right? So that's going to give us, okay, again, absolute reference that. So that gives us, this gives us, I need to specify comma 1. I forgot that. Comma 1. All right, so now that is cumulative probability all the way till 110. Okay. Now if I copy that down here, so that removes the borderline, put the borderline there. That gives us the probability of x less than or equal to 125. Okay. And we want what is in between, so you have to subtract one from the other. So when I go that minus that, that'll give me the probability between that. All right. Same goes for norm.s.dist. Okay, so here are the z values, right? So then norm.s.dist of that, comma 1. Okay, and then for that, okay, both are cumulative, so just subtract, you get the answer. So you can use either one of these. Okay, what is the probability of completing the construction between 95 and 110 days? Okay, so 95 and 110 days. Well, same like here, right? So all you have to do is just copy these, and that would be these probabilities. And same, you can copy all of that.